Kash Patel just proved he has no problem torching the MAGA faithful with a stunning declaration. And dare we say we think one orange liar-in-chief could be behind it all? Stay tuned. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. In the annals of internet conspiracy weirdness, one name towers above all, at least at our present cultural moment: Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein, of course, was the millionaire financier and political donor, as well as a close personal friend of Donald Trump. In 2019, Epstein became the target of federal charges for running an underage girl sex trafficking ring. He killed himself in his prison cell later that same year. Or did he? Because of the close proximity of Epstein to high-profile politicians, including Prince Andrew of the UK, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump, questions have risen surrounding the circumstances of his death, and if he may have been killed to protect someone more powerful. For more on all that, see our other videos here on the channel. Epstein conspiracy theories helped propel one Kash Patel to prominence. Check out what he had to say to noted anti-Semitic right-wing nut Stu Peters in an interview, someone who Patel claims he never met. Just saying. Take a look.
Did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? Who killed Jeffrey Epstein? How about that?
Let me talk about, so I've spent a lot of time in federal detention facilities as a public defender before, talking to my clients, so I kind of know how those work. He was in isolation. He was in a unit where he's in there not just to protect himself, but he's in there to protect the rest of the prison population because he was such a high profile case. What happens is, in these units, there's supposed to be 24/7 guard duty on him directly. And from what I was able to learn in this, in the lead up to his suicide, is the guard fell asleep. Now, I don't really buy that, but it's almost impossible to prove otherwise unless you can obtain the videotape. And usually there isn't video looking into people's cells for a lot of reasons. And so we're stuck with that narrative. And do you know what happened to these guards? Supposedly they were going to get charged, but I've never heard anything that happened to these prison guards. Maybe we should try to find them and let's talk to them.
Yeah, it's like the Andy Griffith thing, right? He falls asleep with his feet up on the desk, and then the key, you remember that they reach around and they grab the keys and they make their way out of the jail so they can go back to the saloon. I mean, it seems really ridiculous to me that the media wants us to believe that this is actually what happened. They're gaslighting.
And also, when you're in that kind of confinement, we call it solitary confinement, you're not supposed to have these things that you are able to hang yourself with.
As part of their confirmation hearings, both Patel, who is now FBI director, and Attorney General Pam Bondi vowed to release all the files on the Epstein case. That has not happened despite repeated assurances. And now we have a new reason why. Stay with me here. In right-wing world, one popular theory is that Bill or Hillary Clinton had Epstein silenced. More likely, however, is the theory that Donald Trump, who, it should be noted, was president in 2019, would have had Epstein bumped off to protect himself going into re-election. Could that be why the Epstein files have yet to materialize? Kash Patel and FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino sat down with Fox News reporter Maria Bartiromo over the weekend to address the ongoing questions surrounding the Epstein case and their sudden reluctance to allow transparency. Here's what they had to say when confronted about their reluctance to release the new details on the case.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself. You know what, Maria? Kash is not kidding. We've been personally briefed extensively on every single detail, nugget, tendril of this case. One is actively in court right now, so out of respect for the case, it's probably more appropriate that I stay quiet on that. However, I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth, and whether you like it or not is up to you. If there was a big explosive there, right? Given my history as a Secret Service agent and my personal friendship as a director does with the president, give me one logical, sensible reason we would not have. If you can think of one, there isn't. In some of these cases, the there you're looking for is not there. And I know people, I get it. I understand. It's not there. If it was there, we would have told you.
Change of tune, isn't it? Which raises the question, why? Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist myself. I'm not a fan of wacky conspiracy theories except on the X-Files. In real life, misinformation often contributes to distrust, and in an era and an administration when lies and misinformation flow like sewage, it's easy to see why people become paranoid and invest in conspiracy theories. But back to Kash Patel. Logically, I see two possibilities here. Either Patel had his ego smacked because he discovered there is no Epstein conspiracy. Jeffrey Epstein offed himself in a prison cell, says the official report. Or Patel, and for that matter Pam Bondi, suddenly decided to withhold the Epstein files because they damaged Donald Trump. Hell, both could be possible. They might have found Trump took some golden showers with some Epstein procurements, or they might have found that Trump had him personally silenced. Either way, transparency is not what Patel, Bondi, and Bongino are bringing to Washington. Instead, they're bringing more obfuscation, more politicizing of intelligence and investigations, and a whole lot more stupidity. And somehow we think the people in MAGA land that bought into Epstein conspiracy theories will still find excuses to say that the Democrats are preventing these three stooges from doing their jobs, or that there was no reason to believe any Epstein conspiracy theories in the first place. Funny how that works, isn't it? Gore Vidal called the United States of amnesia. He died more than a decade ago, but he's still right. And Lord only knows what Vidal would have to say about a moron like Kash Patel trying to protect the country. This is Occupy Democrats.